My 3-step plan to 50 closings in 2026, no ad budget needed. Not only no ad budget, I'm telling you that if you follow what I share in here, you don't have to record videos, you don't have to short form videos, long form videos, any of that stuff. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't. I'm suggesting that with this plan alone, you can do 50 deals in 2026. I am as sure of this as I have ever been about anything in real estate. And I'll share why and how I'm as sure of that to give some context before we get into the how-to part of this. I will give you a 3-step process, and this is going to be interactive, and I might fall flat on my face in the middle of this. And everybody it'll be fun. We'll have fun together with me falling flat on my face. We'll see what happens. But this is designed to be interactive and more of a workshop than anything. Now, the first few minutes, I want to provide some context and do something that I rarely do on these sessions, which is provide a little bit of my backstory and context, okay? And it is relevant to this topic and this plan, and I will tell you exactly how. I have been in real estate. I've been licensed since 2007, but I got started in 2004. I think 2004 is the first year I bought my first investment property. And what got me interested in real estate is my wife and I, we buy this little Cape Cod house. We house hacked before house hacking was a thing, meaning we bought this little Cape Cod house. We got a little bit of help from her parents on a down payment. We buy this little Cape Cod house, and we have two guys that I graduated East Stroudsburg University with, paid for 2 of the rooms in the house. So we were living there almost for free on a down payment that we borrowed to purchase. In 15 months' time, we sold that house we bought it for 167 or 170. I don't know. We made $30,000 in 15 months' time, or we sold it for $30,000 more than what we paid for it. And at the time I was teaching it, I was like, that's a lot of money because my entire teaching salary is $32,000. What's going on here? So we buy this big house. Meanwhile, it's my wife and I and a dog. Eventually, the house was so big, we had to buy a second dog. I don't know why we bought this. We buy this 4-bed, 2.5-bath house. This is in the suburbs of Philadelphia. The first Cape Cod was in Hatboro. Beautiful, lovely town. Awesome. Like one of my favorite places. We buy the next house. That was in Montgomery County. We buy the next one in Bucks County, just over I forget what County Line Road or something. 4-bed, 2.5-bath. It's like a half acre, a pool. We are kids. I have no idea what we're doing at this point. Like, why did we buy this house? So anyway, we feel like we got a good deal on it. I remember distinctly, I didn't even plan on sharing this, but I think it's all interesting and useful and pertinent to this. I remember taking down wallpaper in that house. Like I feel like I still have PTSD from taking down wallpaper in that house. We painted and did some flooring. I think that was it. Maybe some new light fixtures. And in 9 months, when we realized, what are we doing in this big house near none of our family, living in an area where the cost of living is way more than where we grew up? So we sell this thing in 9 months. Now, part of this was luck because it was the timing. This was like 2002, 2003. And it wasn't quite like when things were going nuts in 2021 and 22. There was some luck involved here. And we sold that. We bought it for $307. We sold it for $350 in 9 months. And literally, I would say that I earned that through the wallpaper experience. But beyond that, we didn't really do a whole lot. So that was my second, wow, there might be something to this real estate stuff. So I get interested in real estate. I'm teaching still. I remember the first real estate investing book I read was by Russ Whitney. Russ Whitney. I can't remember the book, but I remember that guy. And you want to talk about a sleazy salesperson. And I hope he's not listening. I think he's actually, I don't think he's with us any longer. But man, oh man, that guy was a slick salesperson. Anyway, that was the first one. What really changed my life and my perspective was Rich Dad, Poor Dad and the whole series in there. Buy my first investment property in 2004, an absolute disaster. Complete disaster. This beautiful old house that had just roof leaks that it was impossible to figure out what the hell was leaking. I spent thousands of dollars trying to fix the dang roof. Somehow made some money on the deal. I don't even know how. There was an old antique car in the garage that the seller didn't even know was back there. I remember we sold that thing on eBay for, I don't know, $5,000 or $7,500. That may be the only profit actually that I made on that deal. But it gets me moving down this slippery slope of real estate. I end up doing a whole bunch of fix and flips with partners. We renovated almost an entire neighborhood between my partners and I and another company that was doing it. We literally turned around a neighborhood. At one point I had 50 some doors, 53 or 57. Boy, again, I was young and an idiot. Not that you shouldn't do that. I just did it in a way that wasn't the best way possible. In that time, I start wholesaling properties, which essentially is acting as a real estate agent. And in 2007, wow, that took me a long time to circle back on this. In 2007, I get my license with the focus or reason why I got my license was to build a real estate sales business around helping real estate investors do more deals. My first year, 2007, I was rookie of the year at my brokerage, and I was trying to find records of this. It was 24 or 26 or 28. It was 20 some transactions, year one. Now, I did have some sales experience because I had done deals, I had wholesale deals, etc. So it's not like I didn't, but I only was focused on real estate investors, and I almost exclusively obtained them through free advertising on Craigslist for free. Okay. Now, it's not that I didn't spend any money on anything, obviously, but that was how I built a list of real estate investors through Craigslist. My second year in the business, I was number one in units in the whole brokerage. Number one. Second year. Again, focused all of my proactive time and energy on real estate investors. I realize in this process, what I really love is marketing. I go on this wild journey now for many years. I built a couple of companies helping other real estate agents with their online marketing and attracting clients. I even wrote a book, etc. I can't remember what year I am on stage there with Gary Keller. 2009, maybe 2010. I don't remember exactly, but it was somewhere around then. And I was talking about how I built my business around serving investors and using Craigslist to build my client base. That was the topic that I was on there. Anyway, I wrote this book. People still say kind things about it. Married for 22 years, 4 amazing kiddos. That was at my oldest son's signing day at high school. That is now, oh my goodness, it's a year ago already. Jeez Louise. He's at University of Louisville, having a good time. The other kiddos are a lot bigger. I built these businesses. I went back into production 2020 because I wanted to get back in. I love the game. For whatever reason, it took me until literally a few months ago to realize all the way back to my roots of 2005, 6, 7, I want to work more with real estate investors. And when I made that shift in my own personal production, I would say like late spring, things have taken off like a rocket ship. And I am so busy now, and I have a pipeline that is so deep that I get to choose. Here's the thing. When you have so much opportunity in your pipeline that you almost feel overwhelmed, you have a different demeanor and level of confidence that makes you even more attractive to other clients. And I didn't even plan to share this, but I think it's relevant. This weekend, I got a cash offer lead that came. They requested a cash offer through some advertising that I have running now. And I talked to him, and I scheduled a tentative appointment for this afternoon. And it's pretty far for me, but it's worth it for me, generally speaking. But I pulled up and I pulled up the information. There was just some red flags here. It's a divorce situation. I'm talking to the husband, but only the wife's on the title, on the deed. I'm like, that's a red flag. What he was saying on my conversation with him about what he thinks it's worth, I'm looking at it and I'm like, some of this is not adding up. So if I didn't have a ton of opportunity already in my pipeline, I would probably just have gone and hoped for the best, right? Because you do what you got to do. But I'm so busy and I got so much going on. I called him and I texted him a couple things. I'm like, hey, James, I'm seeing some red flags here, right? Blah, 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 blah. I lay it out for him. And then I record a Loom video. And I was like, okay, everything that you shared, here's what I think what I would recommend that you do. And he ended up calling me and we had a conversation literally at 10:30 right before this. And he ended up talking himself into doing business with me the way that I choose without me coming out there and driving. And I share that because if I were desperate, if I were desperate, I think I would have much less likely, that would be much less likely that even if I went out there today of me getting the business, but I'm not, because I'm so busy and I have so much in my pipeline that I just don't care. I'm going to tell people the truth and not what they want to. And I was like, hey, look, what you shared, a cash offer as it is going to be nowhere near what you're looking for. If you want to sell this anywhere near what you're looking for, we need to do the 7-day stress-free home sale system that I've got, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't even relate to this 3-step plan, but it's relevant to the point of meaning when you have a full pipeline, you're just not desperate. You don't have to work with anyone and everyone, and you can create your own terms of engagement. Okay. Now, I used AI to put together for the analytical types in here, why you should consider focusing on servicing real estate investors. Now, I'm not suggesting that you do this exclusively. And in fact, of my last 10 closings, and I'm looking, I have 9 on the board right now, or 8 or 9 on the board right now. There's a fair amount of retail buyers and sellers on the board. So it's not like I'm saying no to that business. It's that I am proactively investing my time and energy to build a deeper database and pipeline of real estate investors, and also for me, motivated sellers that have already decided to sell. Here's what I know about the conversation that I mentioned with James. He's decided to sell. Wife moved out a year ago. He's packing up. He's selling the property. It's just a matter of the right person to help with the sale and how he wants to sell it. When you spend your time talking to people that actually want to talk to you and actually want and need your help, the business is a lot more fun. So here's what Manus, which is one of my favorite AI tools right now, here's why Manus thinks you should focus more of your time and energy on servicing real estate investors. And I just so happen to agree with a lot of this, which is why I wove this in. And I promise 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to get into the tactics. And the first resource that I'm going to share with you, I have been working on this for over a week, and it's really good. It's really good. And I'm going to share it. When I get to that, I'll drop it in the chat. If you're watching in the live stream, there is a link. If you're watching on Facebook, in the live stream, there's a link to join the Zoom. And if you hop into the Zoom, you'll get the resource in the chat. So come hang out with us in the Zoom. Okay, here's some reasons why you might cater your business model towards investors versus retail clients. Stability, predictability, and long-term profitability. If I were good at drawing on this thing, I would draw this, but I'm going to stop sharing and emphasize this point. Think about this. When you have an active investor buyer, for example, Ben Wilson, you don't know Ben, but I'm going to tell you Ben's story. I picked up Ben as an investor client in September. He actually responded to a text message, a cold outreach text message about one of his absentee owned properties, meaning a property that he owned that didn't live in. He responded to this message, hey, Ben, would you consider selling your property at street address to a private client of mine? He responds, he calls, or I called him, somehow or another, we end up on the phone. He's like, I don't actually want to sell that property. If you offered me enough, I'd probably sell it. Here's what I'm looking for. I actually am looking for, and he gives me his buy box. Since that time, September, it's been 2 months, I've sent him a couple of possible deals. He's even made verbal offers on a couple of properties that fit his buy box. We are submitting his first full, real written offer today on a bank-owned property that perfectly fits his buy box. That I can't guarantee we're going to get it, but I think we're going to get it. I'm pretty confident because he's making a good offer, clean offer. It's been sitting for a while. This asset management company makes it really difficult to submit an offer, which is fine by me because it means less people will actually do it. And so we win by being the one. And Ben's going to fix it up, and he's most likely going to resell it, and I'll get that listing. And then when that happens, we're going to find Ben another deal. And then when that one, whether he keeps it or sells it, then we're going to find another deal. Point is, that one client will likely turn into 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, maybe more transactions in the next 12 months. Juxtapose it with Todd and Amy. Todd and Amy, I've told this story on some of my live streams. I posted it on social media. Todd reached out to me. I've known them for many years. He DM'd me about a year ago. He'd been working with another real estate agent. It's my fault. It's my fault. I dropped the ball. And they fired him, basically. He wasn't really doing much to help them find the property, and they were just frustrated by the market in general. Over a year's time, showing them many houses, they did finally buy a home, their dream home. They settled on it 2 Tuesdays ago. And what? Maybe they'll refer me someone else in the next year. I hope. They gave me a good review on Google. That was nice. But they're never going to sell that house. Maybe they will eventually, but it took them forever. It took us forever to find the right one for them. They're not going to sell it for, I don't know. Okay. Ben is, if you pick up one Ben per month, it's exponential growth. It's exponential growth. Versus Todd and Amy, when Todd and Amy settle, I have to replace them every month. I don't have to replace Ben. And so let me give you another one. Bryce. I get a motivated seller that comes to me. I promise I'm going to get into the 3 steps, but I like telling stories. Motivated seller, it was actually, they went to one of my websites and the fastcashoffers.ai website lead capture tool captured it. She didn't even opt in. Her and her friend were on my website. Monday morning, the friend replies to the auto text through Bold Trail. I was looking for a friend. She needs to sell her house fast. She gives me the friend's cell phone. I already have her information because she was already captured in Bold Trail. But now I can go and call Vicky and say, hey, Vicky, I forget what the friend's name was. Sarah told me that you got a house to sell and you need some help. I do. It's listed. The sheriff sale is Friday. Okay. This is Monday. Sheriff sale is Friday. So I go and find Bryce. How did I find Bryce? Bryce flipped a property literally on the same street like a month prior to this. So I call Bryce. He answers the phone. Number one, I say, hey, Bryce, it looks like you flipped a property on, I forget what the name of the street is, a couple of months ago. Are you looking for any deals right now? Yep, I'm always looking for deals. That was literally like the exchange. Okay, here's the situation. Blah, 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 blah. I line it out for him. And I'm like 10 minutes from there. Can I go take a look right now? I was like, I don't know. Let me call the seller. So I call her back. Yeah, he can come, blah, blah, blah. Took about 2 days, but we got a signed agreement. We stayed the sheriff's sale. We settled 2 weeks later. Bryce is now on my short list. I called Bryce yesterday. Hey, I got this motivated seller. I don't think this is going to be a good fit for you, but I told this guy that I would at least call you because I knew that if anyone could do this deal, it'd be you. He's really sure if I'm interested. For some reason in the conversation, hey, do you have deals in Adams County? I was like, I sure do. Why do you ask? Because I got a gal like me in Adams County. Can I share her contact info? Oh, yeah, you can. So now Bryce, I don't have to replace because Bryce will he'll go and make an offer on anything I have good reason for a deal, number one. And now he has multiplied and created even more opportunities. All right. I think I'm beating a dead horse. Let's get into the 3-step plan. The 3-step plan starts with this. You have to have strategies for finding good deals. Why? Because when you have a good deal and a reason why it's a deal, real estate investors will be interested. They'll welcome your call, your text, your email because they're looking for deals always. I can't tell you how many times on my live streams. So a big part of my morning live streams is me calling investors. I've been so busy that I haven't done it this week, to be honest, because I haven't needed to pick up more in my pipeline right this second. But a lot of those sessions, I'm doing outreach to investors. I can't tell you how many times where I call and they're like, I'm not really, you know what? Yeah, send me what you got. They're like, yeah, I'm busy. But if you have a deal, they're curious. And also, birds of a feather flock together, easy for me to say, which means when you're reaching out to them, you should always be including, not sure if you'd be interested or you might know anyone who would be interested. Because that's another thing that happens a lot when I'm reaching out to investors. I had one a couple of weeks ago. In fact, I think this was on the last time I did the off-market matchmaker masterclass a couple of weeks ago. I think it was during that. I got a guy, it was a landline, and I'm leaving it an old school voicemail. I just picture when the guy picked up, I pictured it being like literally the old voicemail, like the little tape thing. Anyway, I'm leaving a voicemail. He picks up. I'm like, hey, it looks like you're a pretty active investor in the Fleetwood area. We got this deal. Not sure if you're looking for anything or know anybody. Oh, yeah. And actually, he didn't say excited. I get excited. This guy was old and didn't get excited about anything. I didn't have to put the old in there. Anyway, I could tell he was an older gentleman and probably not getting excited by much. He tells me, send me what you've got. Email me everything you've got. I'm going to share it with a buddy of mine who, I think would look at it, right? It's easy when they want to hear from you. So here's what I'm going to do. This document I've been working on for over a week, and I don't even know how many. I put 13 in the title, but I think there's more than that, okay? This document will walk you through a whole bunch of different ways that you can find deals. And the deals are the bait that we're going to use in step 2 to do the outreach to the active investors, which I'll get to in a minute, but I want to take a little bit of time and unpack some of these on here. I'm not going to go through all of them because there's a lot. And you'll all look at this and you'll probably come up with even better ways to uncover the deals. These are just the ones that I came up with. So the first 5 are different MLS filters I have used that have helped me uncover deal opportunities. So number 1 is combining days on market with public remarks. So you go and I want a minimum of 30 days on market, 45 days on market, 60 days on market. I would say, I would adjust this accordingly to your market. In other words, if your average days on market is longer, then I would go longer days on market. If it's shorter, I think you could go shorter, right? So if you're in an area that is still pretty hot and things are moving, 30 days is probably good. If generally speaking, your market is slower, go to 60 plus or 90 plus. There's no right or wrong answer here. Just play around. Public remarks. The reason why these are like this is that's how it works in Bright. In other words, that's how you have to structure it so that it will pull any of these. Meaning in the public remarks, it says as is, or quick, or probate, or estate, or TLC, or cash, or motivated, blah, blah, blah. It may be different in yours. If you're in Flex or whatever, I don't know, but figure it out. Almost every MLS has a support person that you can call or chat with and say, here's what I'm trying to do. I want to pull a list where any of these words in the public remarks means that I see the listing, right? You can figure it out. Make sure you mark not new construction, because you don't want to whatever. Okay. And then adjust accordingly, play with it. That's number 1. Number 2, the exact same thing, but in the private remarks, because some listing agents, either at the request of their client or just whatever, they won't put those words in the public remarks, but they'll put them in the private remarks, meaning that only agents could see them, right? So you will uncover properties with this that you might not if you just do the public remarks. Bucket number 3, I am seeing, in my market anyway, a lot more bank-owned properties. Now, is it a lot? No, but it's a lot more than 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And in fact, I have one under contract with, I didn't even tell Seth's story. Seth is another investor client that I picked up. I did not know Seth before October 3rd. And we are settling on a property November 25th. Was that 2 Tuesdays from now? Something like that. November 25th. Didn't know him on October 3rd. He's buying it. He's going to fix it up. I'll list it for him. It'll probably be ready late winter, early spring. And then he'll want to rinse and repeat again. Okay? Anyway, bank-owned, REO, short sale, etc. Check that one out. Here we go. This is one, I would assume this is in every MLS, but I don't know. I only have Bright. You can choose property condition and select below average or major rehab needed. Now, not every listing agent chooses that when they input it, because at least in Bright, it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not mandatory. It's not a required field. You don't have to choose an answer for that, but some will, and that may be a way to find those. Let me give you one other one. This is directly in MLS. Just days on market. Oh, multiple price reductions. This one's a little tricky, and you may not have it in your MLS. But if you can search by days on market and multiple price reductions, that could be a very good one. And for any of these, you can also layer on price range, property type, whatever, right? These are just starting points. Okay. Here's another one, HUDHomestore.com or .gov or whatever. If you just Google HUD Home Store, it'll come up. Usually these are also listed in the MLS, but sometimes they're in there, but they don't show up in these other search, even though they're technically like bank-owned REO or in Bright, there's a HUD, but sometimes they're not in there. Okay. By the way, I'm showing you all of these. Literally, you just need to start with one. Let's just find one deal. And here's what's critically important. You have to have a reason why it's a deal. So when you find this deal, if it's listed with a real estate agent, call them. Hey, what's up? Hey, catch me up to speed. What's going on with this listing here? Been away a little while. What do you got? Have you had any offers? What's the best offer they've turned down? Find out. What's the deal? What's the deal? Okay. Here's another one. Hubzu. Hubzu is another one. Hubzu, I think it's just hubzu.com, HUBZO.com. It's an auction platform, bank-owned properties, and there may or may not be any in your market on these, but I was just playing around with this morning. Xome is another one. Auction.com is another one. Golly, that's why I like using Google Docs for this. Here's a very easy, simple one. All of you can do this one. Go to Redfin, search city or county or whatever, go to filters, and choose fixer upper. Almost every time I've done that in all other markets, I've found 1, 2, maybe 3 that look like they could be a great fix and flip opportunity. Look it up find it on there, look it up in your MLS, call the listing agent. Or you may get the story before you even get to the listing agent. Here's what I mean on the story part. Let's start with Seth. The bank-owned property that Seth is buying, here was the story, the reason why I reached out to Seth. Bank-owned, was under contract, owner-occupant buyer, conventional financing, appraisal killed the deal. They then dropped the price. That's a reason for me to reach out to Seth, who I already knew. But here's I actually did this on one of the live streams. So that particular property, I used one of the tools that I'm going to use next for step 2 of the process that I'll demonstrate here. Oh, actually, dang it, I forgot to do this. Look, hopefully, there's 25 of you looking at this document right now. Hopefully, you guys are trying to find a deal in your market, because what I want to do in the next step, after I'm going to share like 1 or 2 more things from here. What I want to do is I want one of you to give me a deal, and you have to have a reason. Okay, you can't just tell me, this looks like a good deal. Why? I don't know. This looks like a good deal, right? I need a reason, and this is where I might fall flat on my face. I'm going to call the active cash buyers for that deal, or if it's a different type of deal, maybe it's vacant land or multifamily, I'm going to call them live here. And if I don't get one, I got plenty that I could do in my market, but I wanted to make it like really, I don't know. I thought it'd be cool if I help you all find, or one of you find a client live here. Okay. All right. This one will cost you money because you have to have a subscription for this, but they do have a free trial. And I'd be remiss if I didn't share this idea, because you could uncover motivation that the listing agent doesn't even know about. In PropStream, you can get a free trial at growwithjosh.com/PS. In PropStream, you can search on-market properties, actively listed properties, and then you can layer on tax delinquent or vacant or involuntary lien or pre-foreclosure or bankruptcy or pre-probate, or those are probably the big ones, meaning you can potentially uncover something that's going on with that property that the listing agent may not even know about. Why is that important? Because there may be motivation with the homeowner that they don't even know exists. Because look, this is none of you here, but I don't know if you know this or not. There's a lot of terrible real estate agents. A lot of them. A lot. I would dare say there are hundreds of thousands of them, certainly tens of thousands of them. And I didn't share specifics of this deal, so I'm going to unpack this. The deal that Bryce bought, the lady that called me on Monday and said my property is going to sheriff's sale on Friday, that dude should not have his license. He should not be helping consumers because he has no idea what he's doing. No idea. No idea. Okay? So my point is, you can solve a consumer's problem even if you're not the one that has the fiduciary responsibility to them. Okay? So there's lots of ways that you could use that. If you want a demo of how I do that, maybe we'll have time at the end. I want to share three others, and then hopefully somebody found a deal. If not, I'll find a deal and we'll do it. Actually, I'm going to share a couple others real quick. So some other quick ideas. Zillow for sale by owners. I actually did this on Monday. Go to Zillow, look for owner posted, search for vacant properties or land that can be developed or multifamily for sale by owner listings. Call them. Is it still available? Great. If I brought you a buyer, would you pay me a finder's fee? Awesome. And then go find the buyer. Okay. Local wholesalers. Look, there are plenty of these wholesalers in every market, and there are plenty of them that you got to be careful about or with. Okay. Just full transparency with that. Be careful. But sometimes they have good deals. And many of them might be good at getting the deal, but not dispositioning the deal, meaning finding the buyer for that. And the screenshot I have here is we have a local company that I've got a great relationship with. This is a spreadsheet that they share with people like me who ask and have a relationship of all their off-market deals. So I can literally go in there at any time and go, okay, I know Ben is looking for a deal right now. Is there anything in here that fits Ben's buy box? Or I know Bryce is looking for a deal right now. Is there anything in here that fits Bryce's deal buy box? investorlift.com. This is a platform specifically for wholesalers to list their properties. It's Zillow for off-market wholesale deals. You might find a deal in there. What would you do? Treat it like a for sale by owner. Hey, is this property on whatever address? Is it still available? Awesome. If I brought you a buyer, would you pay me a finder's fee? Most of the time it's going to be yes. Okay. Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes you can find deals in there. Facebook groups. Wholesalers were posting there. And then this is one that I'm really excited about. This is coming soon. This doesn't exist yet, but this is coming soon. With LeadDeck.ai, we are building in the ability to, you find Ben or my guy Seth or Bryce using the tool. You can click a button and it will use the data of their portfolio to go and find on market listed properties that fit their buy box and or off market properties that fit their buy box where there is potential distress on the seller's part. And then you literally can just match them up. I don't know how soon that'll be available, but it is, I would say, within weeks, not months. Within weeks, not months. Okay. Who's got a deal? Who's got a deal? Drop it in the chat or open your line. Who's got a deal that we can run with? And if not, I'll find one and I'm going to make a couple of calls.
Gosh, I think I found you one.
Tom, let's go. What do you got?
It's 319.5 for 4 bedroom, 3 baths, 2,400 square feet. I already walked this property because I was looking for another investor.
Okay.
I haven't found one yet, but all the comps run around about 480.
Okay, so it's a flipper. This is your flipper. What's the zip code?
The zip code on this bad boy. Where's the zip code on this bad boy? And let me find it. Where the heck did you go? 76131.
All right, everybody ready to watch me fall flat on my face? Now, here's my only concern with this is I have found for myself that I get a much better pickup rate when I'm calling with a local number. In other words, when I'm calling people with a 717 phone number, the pickup rate is much greater, but I don't care. We're going to have some fun. Okay. So I'm going into LeadDeck.ai. Look, it is, if you're on here and you haven't created your free account and gotten your free credits with LeadDeck.ai, I don't know what you're doing. It's free. It's a free account and you get free 100 free credits. 100 free credits you can use towards leads, cash buyer or seller. This platform it's less than 3 weeks old. Okay. So it's still very much a work in progress. But what I can tell you is the data you pull with it is really good, really good. So you go and create your free account and we need a buyer. We've got a deal we need a buyer for. So I'm going to go new buyer target. Tom gave me the zip code. For whatever reason, this is driving Sean, the developer, crazy, and he's working on it. For whatever reason, when you go to new buyer target, I don't know why, you got to hit refresh, and then the boxes show up here for what type of investor buyers you're looking for. We are working. He is working like crazy to fix it. I don't know why it does that. Hopefully the refresh, we do a refresh every night at midnight, and hopefully that'll fix it. But for now, Go to new buyer target, hit refresh, and you should see those 4 boxes. Was somebody?
No, Josh, I was just telling you that on our end, on my end, at least on my account, it doesn't do that. It gives.
Okay, good. That may mean that he has fixed it, and I need to cache or clear my cache or whatever, my cookies, cache, whatever that stuff means. So I'm glad that at least for one of you, it's not happening. I'm going to choose zip code 676131. I'm going to have it be cash buyers because Tom told me it would be a fix and flip. Now, here's what I didn't get. You've locked it.
Yes.
Is there any other part of the story that I can use in doing my outreach?
It is bank owned. It's equipped with solar panels, which is not on there. So I don't know if that's interesting to them or not.
Okay.
The roof looks fairly new. There's probably, I'd say probably about $40,000 to $50,000 to fix this and flip this thing. It's been
How
vacant
long has
for
it been
some time.
listed?
It's been on the market for over 130 days.
Beautiful. Okay. That's all I need. And I would guess it's had some price reductions.
Yes. It's first figured out at 349,
And what is it at now?
319.5.
319.5. Beautiful. Okay. I got all I need. So I've got the zip code selected there. I'm choosing cash buyers. I hit check lead count. I've got 48. So I'm going to hit the blue button that says create buyer target. And now I've got this buyer target here. And for me to actually get the names and the contact info, etc., I have to use credits to make that happen. And I can choose to do it 10 at a time. And I'm going to do that now because we're going to run out of time sooner than later. So for now, I'm just going to run the first 10. I'm going to get 10 of these 48 cash buyers in this zip code so that I can then reach out to see if they are looking for a deal. And the odds are ever in my favor. And I actually get some of the positive responses that I've been getting when doing this. We'll see, right? We'll see. So I don't know why this happens, but it said 10, it ran 9. It could be that it wasn't able to match up contact data or whatever, but I got 9 from that run of 10, but it only cost me 9 credits. In other words, I don't pay if it can't match up. So now I hit the green button that says 9 investors. Before that, actually, just a heads up, you can download this data as a spreadsheet and import it if you're using Go High Level, if you're using Bold Trail, whatever you're using. And coming soon, you can directly zap that data. That's an enhancement that's coming up. For now, you can download it and upload it if you want. It's better than nothing. But I'm just going to click on that. And now I've got these contact cards here. Okay, I've got these contact cards. And if I hit the contact card, this one is Elizabeth. I am just going to go ahead and make a call here. I'm hand typing in the number here. We'll see what happens. Right to voicemail. Hey, Liz, this is Josh Shanley with eXp. I know this call is a little bit out of the blue, but it looks like you're a pretty active investor in the 76131. And we've got a deal there. It's a bank-owned property that looks like it could be a great flip opportunity. It's been listed a while and has had numerous price reductions. And the ARV on it, the comps on it, seem pretty strong. I don't know if you're looking for any deals right now or maybe know anyone who might be, but I'm going to text you as soon as we hang up. If you could let me know either way, that would be awesome. Thanks so much. So that was the right number because you can't always tell, but the voicemail, she said who it was, and it's a blue text. Can you guys see my screen still? It's a blue text. That's good too. Hey, Liz, this is Josh, period. Just left you a voicemail, period. I was calling because it looks like you're a pretty active investor in the 76131 area. We have a bank-owned property that looks like it could make a good flip for the right investor. Are you looking for any deals right now? ? Or maybe know anyone who might be ? Let me know. Thanks. Tom, what's the name of the city in that zip code? I should have asked that too.
Yes, it's Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. Okay. Only because most people don't most people don't refer to their area as the zip code. Some people may be more to than not. Okay. Let's see here. Next one. Here's what I'm going to do. I will go through no more than 5, and then I want to get to the last step in this process. It's the easiest step, but it's the one that pays the best and requires a little work. It's ringing, so that's good. How's that, Abel? Abel, this is Josh with eXp Realty. How are you? Yeah. So I know this call is a little bit out of the blue, but it looks like you're a pretty active investor in the Fort Worth area. Is that right? You're an investor in Fort Worth area? Is that right? Okay. Not now? Why is that? What was that? Okay. So you're tapped out for now. Yeah, we've got a bank-owned property that looks like it could be a good flip. Yep, we sure can try. Absolutely. Yeah. So this is your cell phone. All right. I'm gonna get you hooked up with my agent partner Tom, who's he's my boots on the ground there in Fort Worth. He's walked this property, and he could help you if you're interested in this one or whenever the timing is right and you're back in the market and looking for something. What's that? Oh, I'll have him send you a link to it as well. Perfect. Yep. Okay. Perfect. All right. Thanks, Abel. All right. So I'm gonna stop there because it's 11:50 and I want to tie some things up, and I want to open it up for Q&A, and then I might do more during Q&A, but I try to keep these at an hour, and that was great. So I think he's not interested right now, but also, which is typically, send me what you got. So I'm going to text him, blue text. So he's got an iPhone. Tom, I don't mean to Apple shame you, but whatever. I'm going to loop in Tom here. Oh, no, Tom does. No, he doesn't. It turned green. Hey, Abel, this is Josh. I'm CCing Tom on my team here. He's our boots on the ground in Fort Worth, and he's the one that found this bank-owned deal that could be a good flip. I'll have him send you all the details on it this afternoon. What would be the best email for him to send that to? You got to be careful when you talk to text. I have sent some things recently where I was like, whoop. And if it's a blue text, you can edit it. But if it's not, that ship has sailed. If it's a green text, you can't. And I've had some talk to text that I was like, here's one. For some reason, it wants to put deal, D-I-E-H-L. Like, what? I know someone with the last name Deal, so I'm making sure that this makes sense and is proper English. And then Tom can take it from there. That looks good. All right. All set and out the door. Why did I ask for his email? Okay. So here's what I do when I get one like that is I will then a couple of things. Okay. A couple of things I will do. I will save that person as a contact in my phone. I'm going to pull up Ben here, my guy Ben, because I've mentioned him a couple of times. So this is what that looks like. Okay. I don't want you to steal my guy, but I've got name, phone number, and I want to have a good email as well. Like some people are adamant, just text me everything, but having a good email for the person when you eventually have to send them something to DocuSign, why not get it as soon as possible? What I do, this is just how I do it. I'm not suggesting this is right or wrong, is under company, I put as much information about their buy box as I was able to obtain. And I didn't get a lot from Abel there, but you can always edit that. So for Ben, I have investor, cash buyer, Western Cumberland County, because that's the geographic area that he wants. And I think I have some other info in there as well. And I need to get Ben's email saved. I don't even have Ben saved on there. So someone like that I want to have on my short list, I want to have them as an actual contact in my phone, so that I can go to contacts and I can say, Franklin, I got a deal in Franklin County. There are 3 investors that I have noted as Franklin County buyers. There's got to be more than that. Maybe I didn't save Bryce accordingly, but I want to do that. The second thing I want to do is now I wouldn't do this with Abel because that was the start. That was like me asking if he'd like to go to get coffee. We haven't actually had coffee yet. Okay. But if I get him to say yes to coffee, and I'm using it as a metaphor here, I'm not actually going to, you get what I mean. Then I will likely add him to my CRM. And when I add these folks to my CRM in Bold Trail, name, email, phone, I will put their actual primary residence. I will add them to a market report for their actual primary residence. And I add them if I feel like, hey, this is somebody that I jive with, we're on the same wavelength, we're a good personality match. I'll also add them to my direct mail AI newsletter. And each month they'll get this in their mailbox. And each month the back is dynamic based upon their city, what's going on, the time of year, and that is insurance against that person going somewhere else when they're thinking about selling their own property, or they're thinking about selling one of their investment properties, or they're just looking for deals. Just a reminder. Maybe they reach out and say, hey, I just finished this one. We just refied and rented this one out. We need a new deal. We need another deal. Okay. So step 1, find a deal. Step 2, use Lead Deck. And you know what? There's 2 other ways you can find the buyers for these deals as well. They're not as predictable, meaning you don't have as much control over it. Meaning, if I spend the rest of the day calling all 46 of those, I guarantee we're going to look at it with at least one of them. Guarantee. It is impossible not to at least have one of them ready, willing, and able to go take a look at that property. Are they going to offer on it? Maybe not, which is step 3. I'll get to in a minute. But 2 other strategies that are working really well for me. This number keeps calling. I recognize it somewhat. If I were live streaming, I would grab it, but I'm trying to stay on topic here, and that might derail. I don't think it's an investment. Yeah, I'm sure it is, but you know what I'm going to do immediately after the live stream? I'm going to call them back for sure. 2 other ways that have worked well for me. Number 1, posting into Facebook groups of investors. You have to be strategic. You have to tease something of value. For example, on Tom's, I would make a graphic post rather than me. How about I just show this? Rather than me trying to paint a picture, let me actually show a picture. Let's do that. I think I should be able to find an example. This works better if it's an off-market deal, but regardless, it can still work. Let me find one recently that I posted. Are you kidding me? Am I on the wrong thing? Come on. Oh, here it is. Here's one. Yeah. Okay. Here's one. Who's looking for a great fix and flip in Waynesboro? DM me. I didn't even say off market on this one. It was off market. I posted about an off market 2 unit in October or September. That thing went viral or something because I got 30 inbound leads from that one post about an off market 2 unit. So many that I decided to do what is my step 3 part of this process. Actually, there's one other strategy. I'm sorry. One other strategy. If you go into these groups and you search, this requires a little manual work, but if you search at gmail.com, for example, you will find people that are posting who are buyers. Here we go. This is the one I saw this morning as I was preparing for this. I saw it this morning and I'd messaged this guy. Wholesalers and realtors. I'm a cash buyer looking to buy 3 properties this month. I'm buying properties and blah, blah, blah. He's giving the buy box, right? That is, I like that he said, I'm not a wholesaler. I'm an end buyer. I don't have any problems with wholesalers. I was one before I was licensed. Okay. Before wholesaling was even like a thing, a cool thing. But in this case, I would much rather have or be collaborating with an actual end buyer. Okay. So those are 2 other ways that you can find the active investors who are looking for deals in your market. Okay. LeadDeck.ai is the most direct, but those will work as well. What do you do next? Step 3. This is where step 3 is where the money's made, just in general. I shared a 3-step process the last 2 days on my live stream for following up, or a monthly marketing process that I use with the homeowners in my database. And if you just do step 1 and 2, you might make a little money. You do step 3, it's where all the money is at. Or the majority of, not all, because if you make a little bit, anyway, the majority. Step 3, regardless of whether or not Abel is interested in that bank-owned home in Fort Worth, it doesn't matter. Because number 1, he might be interested and want to walk the property. Great. Awesome. Maybe he walks it, maybe he offers, maybe not. But number 2, I've created a relationship. And when he's not interested, whether it be Abel or someone else, he will tell me exactly what he wants. And so I can make those notes in my CRM, and or I can then get to work on proactively finding the thing that he wants. Now, Abel is not a perfect example because I don't know how much you could hear through the microphone, but there was some kind of tax thing going on or something. So there was I don't know if he was trying to avoid capital gains tax or he's tax default on something. There was something going on there. So he might not be a perfect example, but here, I'm going to button it up with this story, and then I want to open it up for Q&A. Seth is an investor buyer that we are under contract on a bank-owned property that's settling November 25th. The first property we looked at was a 2-unit in Shippensburg. I know the exact day because I was headed to University of Louisville to watch my son play. It was either October 3rd or October 4th. It was that Thursday. That Thursday, we were on our way to that Friday, whatever the first Thursday and Friday of October. We were on our way there, and Shippensburg was on the way, and Seth had reached out about a 2-unit that looked like it could be a good deal. It looked like it could be a good deal, but I hadn't seen it in person. So I meet him there, and we tour the property. And I was very transparent. I was like, I haven't seen it in person, but it seemed like this might make sense. As we're walking through, I'm like, Seth, this is not a good deal. This is not, almost at no price. Is this a good deal? It was like, it was just a mess, right? So I was like, yeah, this is not great. He opens up to me about the deals that he's done in the past and what he's really looking for, and tells me that he had bought some deals with a buyer's agent that just would try and sell him everything. If we're looking at a place, I'm trying to sell it to you. And that's just not how I operate. So he liked that. And I think he even shared with me how much right then and there that he appreciated that. We kept in touch by text. I see this bank-owned property. I'm on my live stream in the morning. I find this bank-owned property, and I'm using LeadDeck to reach out to new investors. And on there, I was like, this is perfect for Seth. So I text Seth. We look at it that afternoon. He said, I think I want to offer this. I said, look, we're not going to lose it between now and tomorrow morning. Sleep on it. I'll text you in the morning. Let me know if you think that's the right number. I text him in the morning. Yep, I'm good with that number. Let's submit it. We submitted it. I think it was Thursday. It was Friday morning. We had to resubmit it Monday morning. We heard, I don't know, Wednesday that it was accepted. We got the full documentation, and we're settling on the 25th. My point is this. He didn't buy the deal that was the bait. That is the reason why we connected in the first place. And I wouldn't tell anybody to buy that deal. Okay, that's beside the point. But it was bait to create the opportunity to get the relationship that I can then go and proactively find deals that actually make sense for Seth. And if you keep stacking that in your business, literally, you can wake up each day and create opportunities out of thin air. Because I'll go back to the whole relying solely on retail buyers and sellers. If your business is solely based on retail buyers and sellers, you only have so much control over their motivation and timing. And I would say you have next to none. And the harder you try to control their timing and motivation, the more likely they are to not want to work with. Investors are the opposite. And I don't mean pushing them, but Ben, for example, he has noted to me several times how hard I work. And I do work hard, right? I do. It's not like I don't. But also, I know that he'll make an offer. So why wouldn't I work hard to find him deals? Because he's proven that he's a player, right? Let's face it. If you've been struggling with retail buyers and sellers, and you're not sure if you've got these buyers who are pre-approved and they might be interested, and you're not sure how strong the pre-approval is, it's hard to really work super hard and make sure you're turning over every leaf. Whereas somebody ready, willing, and able to go right now, why would you not do everything possible? So step 3, Rob, step 3. Once you've established the relationship with that new investor client and you have clarity around your buy box, you go back to step 1, use that document and find deals that fit their buy box. And then you're just matching them up. And they might be on-market deals or they might be off-market deals. For example, I said, I should try and find this post. It's nothing magical. It literally was an image that said off-market 2-unit in Manheim. And there was something else. And it said, call or text me. I got a whole bunch of people that reached out. Now I have not just one person that's ready, willing, and able to look at multifamily properties in this area. I have a bunch. So what do I do next? I go and find, this is before LeadDeck existed, okay? But I'll be able to do this with LeadDeck now. I go and find all of the multifamily owners of multifamily properties in Manheim that also might have motivation. They're tax delinquent, or they're pre-foreclosure, or they're pre-probate, or whatever. There's a couple of other common buckets. And I reach out and say, hey, James, would you consider selling your multifamily property at street address to a private client of mine? And right now, when I'm doing that, I say before the end of the year. Now, I can't say once we get into December, that creates a timing issue a little bit to make it happen. But the more specific you can make it, and the more like when you know that you have people that will look at and offer on those, would you not confidently be then reaching out to those people to see who's interested? It makes it's just a no-brainer. Some great questions, and I'm going to get to those. Before I do, a couple of things. The replay of this session and the documents, etc., are going to be uploaded into the school community, the free school community. I'll have to edit it significantly to publish it live on YouTube. So I probably won't do that because I was sharing, many of you saw, it's not private, it's public information, but when you blast it on YouTube, YouTube doesn't like it. I will put the replay, I got distracted from the Manus, the reasons why you should work with investors, but I'll put that in for those that are curious. I will put in the document with where to find deals, and I'll put in any other resources that were referenced. It will be in the free school community. I'll put it under the mastermind replay and probably under the off-market mastermind. I'm going to make it as easy as possible to find. I'll put a link to that community in the chat. If you can't find it, DM me, drop a comment, text me, whatever, if you're somehow seeing this after the fact and you can't find the community with the resources. Okay, now, and if you want to partner up with us so that we can help you, like I did Tom here live, on a more regular basis, deploy this 3-step plan in 2026, get back to whoever invited you to this session and schedule a time to chat and explore what that looks like. Isabel, this is a wonderful question. And the answer is why it's so awesome. Where are the buyers coming from on Lead Deck? The buyers on Lead Deck are showing up because they have demonstrated through their behavior that they are active cash buyers. What do I mean by that? If I go to dashboard, new buyer target, I can put in whatever I want, county, city, zip code. Look at this, cash buyers. Cash buyers with 5+ properties purchased in the last 3 years, meaning they have to have purchased at least one in the last 3 years. It doesn't mean they purchased 5 in the last 3 years. Why is that important? Because you can't buy your way onto this list. That Mike guy that I showed in the Facebook group that said, I'm a cash buyer, I want to buy 3 properties. He may or may not be legit. He may have never bought a property before. I don't know. People on this, You can't buy your way onto this. I mean, you can. You have to buy properties. A lot of them, right? Active landlords, absentee owners with 5+ properties, and they've purchased at least one in the last 3 years. Multifamily, same idea, but it's multi. This is that they own 5 properties. At least one is multifamily, and they have to have purchased in the last 3 years. And then vacant land buyers. David, I think David's on here. We were had a little... The issue that I was having with the refresh and the box is not there, but we got it to work. And David was looking for vacant land buyers for, I think it's his listing or a listing of 3.19 acres. And he's not waiting for the market to come to him. He's going and proactively bringing the market to that opportunity. And you may think this way, and I say this because I was talking with a great agent in my organization in Florida. I'm going to leave her name out just because I don't need to share her business. She wants to find some off-market deals for investors. She's got 5 or 6, and she knows their exact buy box. And in talking about that, she said, these guys all know what the stuff that's listed on the market. Okay, not. But I would say more often than not, when I'm bringing these on-market opportunities to buyers, either they hadn't seen it or they didn't know the story. So maybe they saw it, but they didn't realize that it had gone under contract. There was an owner-occupant buyer, that the deal fell through because of the appraisal, and it came back on. And they not only did it come back on market, but they just reduced the price. Like, they didn't know that part of the story. So that's where you can demonstrate your value through that. And there are other ways that you can demonstrate value or reasons why it is a potential deal or bait that you're using to reach out to them. Okay. How much do you pay as a finder's fee, and can it be a non-real estate person? A finder's fee, when I'm doing that outreach, that's just my commission, right? So 2.5%, 3%, whatever. And so if I'm doing that, if I'm representing Ben in an off-market transaction and I write up the agreement, I'm just going to put 3% or 2.5% or whatever as my fee in there. And again, I'm not suggesting you do whatever. I don't want to be breaking any laws, compensation laws or whatever, but you got to figure out what makes the most sense depending on the situation. I'll drop the document again for those who had hopped on late. The replay will be in the free school community. Rick, if you bring them an on-market deal, how do you get paid? As a buyer agent. As a buyer agent. Is that what you mean? Am I missing something? Did you mean something different? Kathy, thanks for the kind words. Kathy said great. Hopefully that made sense about where the buyers are coming from. Going to Fast Attract, Doreen, right on. Is this a paid ad that you put out? You mean in the groups? Michelle, no, that's just free. You could run paid ads, but the whole point of what I was sharing here is a 3-step plan to close 50 deals without any ad budget. And so I wanted this all to be about telling you, I guarantee you, if you did this, if you followed this 3-step process, I was going to say 3 times a week, 2 times a week. If you did this every Monday morning and every Wednesday morning, after 90 days, you will have so many ready, willing, and able buyers that you know their exact buy box, you won't know what to do with yourself. Here's what else happens. Steve White, my man, this is the owner of the 2-unit property in Manheim that was the bait that I used to find other buyers. He responded to a cold outreach, a text message about vacant land that he owned. The message was very simple. Hey, Steve, would you consider selling your vacant land at street address to a private client of mine? He called me. Multiple phone calls. I did a loan proposal. That proposal, since I'm bringing that up, I have a document with that proposal and a number of other ways that I present to potential sellers, whether they raise their hand because I'm reaching out about this or they do a cash offer request. There's a lot of examples. I'll include it with the replay of this. He reaches out about that, about his land. I've since sold his land. We settled on that last week. In that process, in the conversations, he starts telling me about this 2-unit, and he had been talking with another realtor about listing it, but at some point he just said, I think I'm going to have to tell her I'm going to sell that, use you to sell that. I like you way better than I like her. I wasn't even trying to get that listing because he had already, I'll demonstrate. I let him come to that own conclusion by my demonstrating that my value and my level of service. That one settles, that we sold off market. That one settles tomorrow. I was pointing like this, but it's actually tomorrow afternoon. He's taking the proceeds of those sales and buying another property, which he's going to look at one on Friday that I would be shocked if he doesn't want to write an offer on. And he has referred me a retail seller. The reason I bring that story up is when you start building these relationships with people and you demonstrate that you're different and better and take the service part of this business to heart and go over and above, these people, these types of clientele, they will go out of their way to share because they talk with each other. And they know who the people in your market are that just are the jokers, right? The people that they have commission breath and they just don't do the work. Right? So when you demonstrate to them, they will go out of their way to send you more business. So that one guy who I did not know, I went back and looked at it. I think the cold text message was like July 30th. So I did not know him before July 30th. It is possible by the end of the year, if he offers on this property that he wants to buy, that I will get close to $1 million in volume just from him. And my average price, I'm in central Pennsylvania, our average price is below the national average. It's countywide, it's $300, $330. Not too shabby. Okay, this was way longer than I expected. I have calls that I have to get back to. Rick said, this is what I meant, but I guess I don't know how you show them a property to see if they're interested or not, and yet still guarantee that they will use you as the buying agent. If they still like the deal, then they may use their own agent. Okay, Rick, this is a wonderful question. Okay, I'm going to say it again, and then I'm going to give my answer, which is not legal advice. It's not what I'm going to tell you my answer to this. I'm not suggesting it's the right answer. I'm not suggesting there's no legal recommendation here. I'm going to read it again and I'm going to tell you how I handle this. That is what I meant, but I guess I don't know how you show them a property to see if they're interested or not, and yet still guarantee that they will use you as the buying agent. If they like the deal, then they may just use their own agent. That doesn't even register to me. If I demonstrate value to that person, at some point, they're going to use me. And if not, if they choose to do that, who cares? I went and saw a property that is a good deal, and I created a potential relationship, and I'm sorry, it doesn't even register to me. Now, maybe it's my market, maybe it's my own personal experience. I just don't worry about that. I just don't. I'll win through demonstrating that I'm better by actually being better and looking at service. And maybe this is different, but every investor that I've ever worked with does not have a blanket representation agreement with any agent. When I write these offers up, I write them off a single property representation. So Ben's ready to write this offer. I go and look at this property with Ben on Monday. He wants to write the offer, and I send him all the documentation, and it includes a single property representation, buyer representation form. So this is giving me the opportunity to represent him on this property, not a blanket representation. Because look, if somebody else brings him a good deal, so be it, right? Like, it's merit-based. Do you have the investor sign a buyer's agreement, and what time do you do? So great follow-up to that, Tom. I do it for that specific property that we're making an offer on, and I put whatever the time frame, I put whatever makes sense based upon the offer. So Ben, this bank on a cash offer, they said even on a cash offer, they need at least 30 days, even though we could get title back and settle on a private deal in 2 weeks. They want 30 days. So I just added a little bit to it. Like, I think I made his good until the end of December in case whatever happens. But then it also, like, if you're under agreement, it extends exactly. Yeah. And look, Rick and anyone else, I'm not suggesting my answer is the right answer. And I guarantee you can go and find lots of other coaches and gurus and team leaders, etc., that will tell you otherwise. I'm just telling you, the more you try to lock someone down before you've had the opportunity to demonstrate the level of value and service you combine, the less likely they are to work with you. And for investors, show them a deal and the reason why it's a deal, and whether you earn that business immediately or long-term, you win. I'll go back to that, Steve. In my very first conversation, Steve told me, I got this 2-unit in Lancaster that I'm getting ready to list with, and I don't even know that he ever told me the lady's name, the female realtor. I don't care. And eventually, like 2 phone calls later, he said, I think I'm going to let you go ahead and get that thing sold. I like you. You seem to be hard. You work hard. You follow up and follow through. This lady can't even, I don't know. He had been waiting for something from her. My goodness. 12:25. And I got a bunch of calls to get back to.
Fire,
all right.
John. Fire.
I appreciate it, Lo. I appreciate it. To come down for a landing, to circle the wagons. I don't know. I'm going to get the replay of this, the recording of this, in the school community with the resources that I shared and the recommended tools, etc. You can do this as close to free as possible. You get 100 free leads with Lead Deck. I'm telling you, if you reach out to 100 cash buyer leads around a deal in Lead Deck, you're going to be busy. And I'll get all of that in there. If you want to chat with whoever invited you, most likely James or I, about getting our help implementing this 3-step plan in 2026, just get back to either of us. You can call, text, DM either of us. And for those in my organization already, if you want to collaborate or mastermind around deploying this, I saw some folks, some smiling faces in here that I hadn't seen in a while. So that was good to see. If you want some help, I'm always here to help with that as well.